What's up, guys? It's a beautiful Saturday morning here at Rock Solid, and I'm going to talk to you about a project that I haven't been posting a lot about because the customer, when he dropped it off, said he wanted to keep it under wraps, but now that it's done, he said go ahead and show everybody. So here we have Donnie Drigger's Foxbody, formerly an LS car. Show you the tag here. This LS. Some of y'all might recognize this car from the No Time classes here locally. This car has been really fast to the 8th with an LS combo. I think it was LSX block and a Garrett 102 before. He runs small block boost. But he kept breaking the LS stuff, so we got a new combo in there now. We've got a big block. So first off, he brought us the car NRC in South Carolina, set the motor in there, got the motor plates. I think they built the headers as well. But he needed all the turbo fab done and a bunch of miscellaneous stuff, so he brought it to us for that. First thing we did, we pulled the headers off and put EGTs. He's going to be running the FT600 Fuel Tech. So got those in place. I think the car has an FT500 on it now, but he's going to the 600. He's running a 106mm Pro Mod Precision. A 5-inch aluminum downpipe. All of our turbo kits are standard. Use the Maven turbo support, you can see it in there. And we have the streetcar fabrication billet flanges on all of our builds. So besides the turbo and hot side, we got that took care of first thing. He needed some other things done. One thing, we had to put a crank trigger on it. Crank trigger setup. He actually ordered this, and it was designed to go on this side, but we've got our pump over here in the way. So we flipped it around backwards and put it over there and put it on the bottom. So it still worked out great. Also, the alternator setup, because he still drives this thing on the street, believe it or not, a little bit. We reached out to Jones Racing. I'd never really heard of those guys until I was looking for this car, but they have a really nice setup. 16-volt cog drive alternator setup. Nice billet bracket. We put it right there at the motor plate where the tab is, because that's pretty much the strongest point. It's got a tensioner going off one of the water pump ports there. Nice. Get down here and look at it. Nice pulley setup. We just adjusted the spacer on the mandrel for that. We did a cog drive because you can't put a lot of pressure on the end of those mandrels, they'll break. Cog pulley or cog belt design don't require a lot of pressure. I think they said 6 to 8 pounds of tension, so that's not a whole lot. We did all the water plumbing for the car. It didn't have a thermostat housing. We had to hit up Hogan's. That's whose intake this is. They had a thermostat housing with an AN fitting already on it. So we did that. That's a 16. We did all the plumbing. Reused a lot of his fittings that he already had. Got an electric water pump mounted down there. Let's talk about this radiator. He had a radiator in here with some type of plastic fan, maybe off of a OEM car application like a Ford Taurus or something like that, and it just wasn't going to go in there clean. This car is so clean that I wanted to do something nice for it as far as the radiator goes. So Fluidine in Mooresville, Ryan over there always hooks us up with you know, custom stuff that we want built. So they built this radiator for us. It is 3.5 inch thick, has dual paddle fans on it. Just a really nice piece, and it fits in there like a glove. Got some brackets that go on the end of the frame horns there, just like the bumper. But that really made it open in the engine bay. Like if you look straight down, you're not seeing a huge radiator and fan just flop down there in the way. It gave me room for the hot side to go across. You look underneath, gets the air really good. This portion here almost acts like an air dam, throwing the air up into the core. That worked out really well. What else? Cold side's not very long. This is an alcohol car. It's got 16 injectors, so it's not going to need intercooler or anything like that. Race Part Solutions dual seal, so it'll have a little bit of flex between the engine and the compressor housing. Not really because the engine's going to move, but for the vibration and stuff, it'll help be easier on the turbo. I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, this is a street car. He does drive all his cars on the road. I'll show you the inside of this thing. We got factory door panels, power windows, factory dash, even got factory style seats, even got back seats. This is probably one of the cleanest Foxbodies I've ever seen. Because I know what this car has ran to the 8th mile in this fashion, this is probably the only car I know that does run that fast, that's got full interior and weighs as much as this thing does, and still drives it on the street. Hope Donnie don't mind me showing his car off, but it's pretty impressive. And that's it. Oh, I forgot to say we used tile 60s on the Wastegates. We always put big gates on cars that's going to make this much power. When the turbos are this big, it's just hard to keep them reined in. We gusted the gates, got a back pressure sensor in the wastegate too, because there wasn't really any room between that and the flange. You don't see many of these Foxbodies that still got the factory core support, factory frame rails. I mean, this car really hasn't been trimmed any, but just right there. And then he had a bar going along the bottom that held the old radiator setup, and I just took that out and trashed it for the new radiator setup. But this was a fun one. Check out our Facebook page, Rock Solid Motorsports. I've got a photo album, about 60 some pictures of the build process of this. Just, I took a lot more, but this is just the highlights. Till next time.